Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa and this is Growing on Vancouver Island. This morning I'm going to talk about how I fertilize my rhododendrons and my roses. So before I get started, I want to mention that I'm not an expert on fertilizer. I have not taken any courses on horticulture or gardening or how to fertilize things. This is all based on my personal experience. So let's get started. So for my roses, I'm going to be fertilizing them first off with the Bone Meal Plus fertilizer that I recently picked up at a local garden center. This contains bone meal as well as rock phosphate and humic acid. So bone meal in general encourages more blooms on all your plants. So it's a great thing to be giving roses to encourage them to flower more. The next thing we're going to talk about that I'm going to be giving my roses is Granular Kelp. So Granular Kelp encourages the overall health of the plant, so the roses to be more healthy and produce better foliage, that kind of thing. It contains a lot of micronutrients and pretty much all my plants love Granular Kelp, so it's a pretty good thing to give everyone in the garden. And next we're going to be talking about potash. Potash is new to me this year. I've never used pure potash before, and that's what we're going to be using. So potash, from my research, actually is something that improves resistance to disease in plants, which is particularly important with roses, because on the west coast here we get so much rain, all of our roses are prone to black spot. So we want to do as much as we can to prevent disease in our roses. So if this is going to help with that, I'm definitely going to give them some of that. And then lastly, for our roses, we're going to be giving them some neem meal. So neem meal, I'll just show you the little information pamphlet here. This is from a local company called Reindeer's Plant Foods. If you're on Vancouver Island, it's located in the Cowichan Valley. And it's a great fertilizer for roses in particular, as well as many other shrubs. It contains nitrogen 4%, phosphorus 3%, potash 2%, and organic matter 86%, as well as a few minerals including magnesium, calcium, and sulfur. So I have used this in my garden last season and plants seem to like it, so I'm going to repeat it again. And now we're going to talk about how I fertilize rhodos. My rhodos are quite established. They're about 15 years old, maybe 14 years old. And they're very healthy plants overall. But the one thing that they don't produce well, in my opinion, is blooms. They do bloom, but they're never like full of blooms. Like some rhodos, you see them and they're just covered in blooms. Mine don't usually get like that. They have blooms, but it's like maybe 60% of the plant has flowers and the rest doesn't. So I'm really trying to up my bloom game this year. So I'm going to be giving them a combination of our Bone Meal Plus fertilizer and a little bit of potash, just to more or less experiment with the potash. I don't know too much about the results of using potash since this is my first season using it. So let's go fertilize. So these are the rhodos we're going to be fertilizing today. These rhodos are very established. So we're just going to be giving them a little bit of Bone Meal Plus fertilizer to encourage flowering. A bit of potash to keep them humming. That's it. So here we are sitting at the base of one of my roses. So first what I'm going to do is just move my rock collection a little bit to make some space for the fertilizer. move a few rocks out of the way. Look, little bits of grass growing in here. Now I'm just gonna dig a little indentation into the soil. And we're gonna start fertilizing. First, we're going to use our granular kelp. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in case you're unfamiliar with granular kelp. This is what it looks like, kind of grainy. And we're just going to put some in our hole. And next, we're going to fertilize with our bone meal plus fertilizer. And I'll show you what that one looks like. This looks a little bit like coarse coffee grinds, in my opinion. Put some of that in there, maybe a few spoonfuls. And next, we're going to fertilize with our neem meal. I'll show you what the neem meal looks like. It's kind of grainy and fine at the same time. And lastly, we are going to fertilize with our potash. And I'll show you what that looks like. This is quite a unique looking fertilizer. It's very white and almost looks like big kernels of salt. So we're going to give that a sprinkle into our hole. And then we're just going to cover up that soil a little bit. Put our rocks back. And that's it. That's going to be all today. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a lovely morning.